She didn't blink. Not once. Her 4 silver eyes, wide and trembling, locked onto the human tearing through her squad like a storm of flesh and fury. No armor. No weapon. Just a man. Bleeding. Furious. And very, very human. The alien soldiers she once called unstoppable now lay broken at his feet. And as the dust settled, the alien woman whispered, almost to herself, "Impossible. Humans aren't supposed to move like that." But that's the thing about us. Nobody ever expects what we become when pushed too far. Hey there, legends. If this story pulled you in already, you're exactly where you belong. Hit that like button if you're proud of what humanity can do when it's cornered. Subscribe for more powerful HFY tales that prove why we're more than just survivors. We're the storm they never saw coming. And hey, share this with someone who'd fight beside you when it matters most. They came without warning, silent ships blotting out the sun over Sol's steel skyline. No fire, no declaration. Just the soundless hum of surrender that spread across the world like fog. The Seraphid Dominion called it a peaceful disarmament, but peace doesn't come from the muzzle of an alien rifle. Every military on Earth was neutralized in minutes. Our weapons, EMP locked, drones dead in midair, bullets frozen in their chambers. The aliens didn't even look at us as threats, just curiosities. Fragile, predictable, controllable. But they were wrong about one thing. They thought taking our weapons meant taking our will. Jae-Min Han had been a martial arts instructor before the occupation. He wasn't a soldier, not anymore. He taught discipline to kids, peace to adults. Yet when the aliens marched through Seoul's streets, when they shoved his students into trucks for re-education, something ancient stirred inside him. He watched one Seraphid soldier, towering, insectoid, with skin like shifting steel, grab a crying boy by the collar. That sound, that whimper. It was the sound that cracked the last layer of patience inside him. Jae-Min stepped forward. Empty hands. Calm voice. "Let the boy go." The alien turned, its 4 eyes narrowing. Its translator clicked. "Human. Stand down. Weapons are forbidden." Jae-Min smiled faintly. "Good thing I'm not carrying one." The crowd held its breath. The soldier swung first, a blur of metal limbs meant to intimidate. But Jae-Min didn't flinch. His hand caught the alien's wrist mid-strike. There was a crack followed by an alien scream that rattled glass. No one had ever seen it before. A human moving faster than the Dominion-S enhanced warriors. One hit, then another, then a third. The Seraphid dropped, twitching, its weapon clattering uselessly beside it. And that's when she saw him, Xyra, the alien woman in command, watching from her hover platform. Her expression was unreadable, 4 eyes flickering between disbelief and fascination. She'd studied human combat data. She'd seen our wars. Brutal, inefficient, primitive. But what she saw in Jae-Min wasn't training. It was instinct. It was rage, sculpted into art. Every movement was a contradiction, savage yet controlled, furious yet elegant. He moved like someone who had lost everything yet still refused to fall. "Stop him," she shouted. Her soldiers obeyed. 3 more Seraphids rushed in, blades drawn, shimmering with plasma energy. The air sizzled. Jae-Min ducked under one strike, slammed an elbow into another's thorax, spun, and kicked the 3rd square in the chest. Metal met flesh. Flesh won. People began cheering, first softly, then louder. A tremor of courage spreading through the crowd. For the first time since the invasion, humans weren't cowering. They were standing. Even as more soldiers poured in, Jae-Min didn't retreat. He wasn't fighting for glory or rebellion. He was fighting because deep down, every human knows there's a line no one crosses. The line between control and freedom, between submission and defiance. The alien commander's voice cracked through her translator. "He's unarmed. How is he doing this?" No one answered, because no alien in her fleet could comprehend what they were seeing. A human turning his own body into a weapon deadlier than any machine. Finally, Jae-Min stood over the fallen soldiers, chest heaving, blood dripping from his knuckles. He looked up at the alien woman who hadn't moved a muscle. Their eyes met, human and Seraphid, two species separated by evolution, connected by shock. "You study our bodies," Jae-Min said quietly, "but you'll never understand our spirit." Xyra didn't reply, not yet, but her silence said everything: curiosity, fear, maybe even respect. As the crowd surrounded Jae-Min, protecting him, something irreversible had happened. For the first time in Seraphid history, an alien commander hesitated. Not from logic, from awe. The Seraphid commander, Xyra, wasn't easily shaken. Her kind had conquered 100 worlds, burned civilizations that dared resist. But that day on Earth, when she saw the unarmed human surrounded by fallen warriors, something in her calculation-driven mind fractured. Her species measured strength in numbers. Humans measured it in something else entirely. The Dominion responded within hours. They surrounded the district, dropships hovering above ruined streets. From her command craft, Xyra watched Jae-Min being dragged forward in chains, his face bruised, yet still unbroken. She approached him, slowly, studying him like a living anomaly. "You are dangerous," she said in a voice both curious and cautious. Jae-Min lifted his head, meeting her gaze without fear. "I'm human," he replied. "That's all the danger you need." Her translator clicked again, but there was hesitation this time. She'd never met a species that looked at her like that, not with submission, not with hate, but with something worse: pity. "What drives you?" she asked, more to herself than to him. He smiled faintly. "The same thing that drives any cornered creature. Survival. But we don't just survive, Commander, we adapt. We evolve, we fight smarter." He leaned forward slightly, chains creaking. "You think you've studied us, but you haven't even scratched the surface." That single line unsettled her more than any weapon could. Later, the Seraphid High Council ordered an execution, a broadcast to remind every occupied world that rebellion was futile. Billions across the Dominion tuned in. Xyra stood beside him on the execution platform, her species watching through millions of eyes. And then, the unthinkable. When the execution beam fired, Jae-Min didn't scream. He moved. The human body shouldn't have been fast enough, shouldn't have been strong enough. But he twisted free, grabbed the weapon of his executioner and turned it back on them. One explosion, one blinding flash, and chaos. The broadcast cut off after 6 seconds, but those 6 seconds were enough. 6 seconds where every conquered being in the galaxy saw something they'd never imagined. A single human standing against the impossible and winning. The legend began instantly, a whisper spreading through the Dominion's worlds. They called him the Bare-Handed Storm. For humans, it was proof that we were never truly broken. For Xyra, it was the beginning of doubt, and perhaps redemption. In the aftermath, Xyra stood over the ruins of her own command post. Her soldiers lay silent, not from battle, but from choice. They'd seen something in the humans' defiance that no order could erase. She stared at the sky, smoke and lightning splitting the heavens, and spoke softly to herself. "Perhaps this is what strength truly means." And from that day forward, the Dominion's perfect order began to crack. Rebellions flared across occupied worlds, all bearing one human word scrawled on their banners: unarmed. Narrator tone softens, reflective, proud, almost mythic. They say Jae-Min Han vanished that day. No one knows where. Some say he was vaporized in the explosion. Others whisper he was rescued, hidden by Xyra herself, who could no longer serve the empire she once ruled for. But the truth doesn't need confirmation, because legends don't die. They evolve, passed from voice to voice, world to world, carried by those who still believe humanity's greatest weapon isn't steel or plasma or machines. It's the spirit that refuses to kneel. And maybe that's why the galaxy still trembles when they hear our name, because humans, even unarmed, are never helpless. We are the unpredictable variable in every war, the spark no conqueror can contain. We are humanity, and we are the storm. If that story hit you right in the chest, welcome to the family. You just witnessed why the HFY community loves these tales. Not because humans are perfect, but because we refuse to give up. Like this video, if you'd stand your ground like Jae-Min, share it with someone who's got that same unstoppable spark. And if you were new here, subscribe for more legendary human stories that make even aliens stop and say, wait, they did what? Every week we dive deeper into what makes humanity terrifying, inspiring, and downright legendary in the stars. Stay human, stay fearless, and remember, the galaxy is watching.